Look at that.
Ladies, hi, brothers. I want to introduce in the infamous, the all-knowing, the most spectacular Senita.
That's quite an intro.
Oh man, I'm so excited you're here tonight, man. It's like one, it's good to see you again. We haven't like really talked in them like it's been a little bit, a few
Has
months.
been a while back. Yeah.
We're kind of excited. We got Papa Vic's going to be turning 50, so hopefully we'll see each other there. So that's
The
great.
big one. We're excited to get down there.
Yeah, I mean, Vic, I guess is the first one of our generation that's turning 50, or maybe not. Maybe there's some other people, but yeah, but that's all good. So anyway,
50 is the new 30, so we're all right with that. We're
so
gonna
Kent, like, tell us what's been going on in your life and how's family, kids. Tell us a little bit about who is Kent Senita.
Yeah. So I married Amanda. I dated her back the last. Were we at quarters or semesters back then? Quarters, right? Yeah,
Quarters, man. Yeah.
quarters. Last quarter in school, I believe I met her. So 97. And we dated for a while. I wasn't sure if marriage was ever going to be for me. I thought I was going to be bachelor forever, but she won me over. We got married. We have 3 kids: Grady, Cohen, and Hadley. Amanda's laughing at me over there. Um, so they are 16, 13, and 11 right now. So a lot of fun ages. I love being home. I don't like going to work just because they're here. And I know I only have them for a few more years. So yeah, that's really the focus on my life right now, just family time. It's number one priority. It's what I enjoy the most. It's a hobby.
Yeah,
But
it's a good hobby because, like, it's interesting is because, we're similar age and obviously years and all that kind of stuff. And I was just having this same conversation with someone today. I was just like, like right now, it's just like I want to kind of focus on my boys, and it's amazing how fast that time goes, and then all of a sudden you're like, it's almost done. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
you have this limited amount of time to mold them into the people they're going to be.
yeah.
And for them to learn how to be a father or mother themselves as they get older and how they treat family time. So that's the most important thing in our lives right now.
Yeah. So, like, talking about that, because I think I've seen this in you for quite a bit of time, how important your family is to you. Why would you say that family is like, what's important to you about family?
Well, 2 things. One, responsibility as well. No, responsibility of taking care of them, making sure they grow up well. But the other part is just have fun. Show them how to have fun, enjoy life, uh, do what they want, stay out of trouble, and let's do it all together and have a good time. Um, if you do it right, I think they want to spend time with you, and that's what's really cool. You get them to want to spend time with you instead of trying to avoid you. And you go through life experiences together.
Yeah. And I would assume that you maybe had a very similar experience or model that in your family, because I see you and your brother, you guys spend a lot of time together, so.
Yes, we have a great family. And when you say brother, it's actually multiple brothers. Don't forget, just because they're different last name.
No, I didn't.
So you
I
got
didn't
Mike.
mean by that, but
You
I
got,
just see you with Brad a lot, so that's
yeah. Me and Brad, you always see. And then Mikey, you probably saw him down in Florida last time you were at Vegas.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah.
And then remember Ben Costa, uh, and my other brother wasn't in Theta Xi, but that's 4 of us that were in Theta Xi. That's pretty cool.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, and a cousin, Chad Woodburn, he was in Theta Xi too. So we've got 5 in our family.
Wow. I didn't know this, actually. I didn't know that. It was like
Hey,
I knew
you
you
take
had 4
family.
brothers.
You got the importance of that family, and Theta Xi is important. You bring them all in.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, back to my upbringing. My parents were divorced, so it's a little different. But they were great parents. I didn't get to see my dad as much as I would have liked. He worked a lot, which he needed to do at the time to raise us and everything. I get it. But I feel very blessed with what I do, that I have the time off to be at home and not be distracted by work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great, man.
Yeah.
That's good, man. It's always good. You got a beautiful family. I always see you guys doing some great things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So let's share a little bit about your career. Like, tell us a little bit. I know you've been in aviation and stuff like that, but if you don't mind sharing, to a lot of people probably don't know everything that you do in the work. But let's share a little bit about your career after graduation, what that career path looked like for you.
Well, first of all, I think there were a lot of people in aviation and Theta Xi. So you have Yater, who is at FedEx now, I believe.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got Dan Gowdy, who works with me at NetJets. And then you have quite a few folks that are in aviation and got different aspects and being a pilot also. So aviation's always been a part of Theta Xi, especially during our time. I think Joe Zona actually works at NetJets also still. I know he worked there about a year ago. I don't know if he's still there or not in the office. But yeah, so I went to Embry-Riddle actually first out of high school. I did not go to Ohio State. Embry-Riddle is a flight school down in Florida. It's a great school, great college. But I was there 2.5 years. Great school. 98% males. That wasn't for me. So I came to Ohio State. When I transferred, I went into Fisher College of Business. So I wanted to get a management degree in case my health were to go south or anything, just a backup for flying. So that's why I was at Ohio State. I was only there for 2.5 years. I wish it were longer. Brad got to stay there 5 years. So jealous. Yeah, so after graduation, I started flight instructing, and I got to stay right in Columbus. I was real lucky. I went down to Bolton Airfield, which is southwest side of Columbus. Did that for a year and a half. That I flight instructed private, commercial instrument folks. And then I was able to fly freight after that for a company called AirNet. We used to fly checks. It's a thing of the past. Banks would, when they got a check, when it was cashed, that check would accrue interest until it got to the other bank. And so
Wow.
they'd charter these planes to fly bags of checks around.
Wow.
And that was before electronic checking. And that business went away overnight. We saw the writing on the wall, but I was there for about a year and a half. I was building my time, and then I knew I needed to get out. But that was nighttime flying. It was fun. It was cowboy flying. I could bring anybody who wanted to go with me. And just by myself, you know, it wasn't a co-pilot. It was kind of neat. I brought my brother, my dad, obviously my wife, friends, and yeah, I had a good time with that. And then I went to NetJets in 2000. So I've been there 23 years.
Wow.
It's been a while. It's been a good ride. I am a little salty on it right now. We're in contract negotiations, so I don't have any warm and fuzzy feelings going on, but I'm not going to complain. I'm there, and I'm there for the duration of my career. So that's it. Just 3 steps, and you know, at NetJets, I fly different aircraft. You know, every few years or whatever, I change to different aircraft, different mission, get to see something different. But other than that, I'll probably fly maybe 1 to 2 different aircraft before I retire, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
another
tell us,
20 years.
so share a little bit about, like, you know, what made you go after NetJets or go to that path? Because, you know, obviously there's probably a lot of different like avenues that you can go down, because you say you kind of started with freight.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of going to like maybe a FedEx or something like that, what made you go that? Was it location and NetJets was here, or was it the opportunity more?
All right. Well, first of all, I want to make sure that I make this clear. When I say I flew freight, I did, but
Mhm.
like FedEx, like with Yater, he's at
Yeah.
one of the best jobs in aviation.
Yeah.
So that's not a stepping stone. Just to let you know. So I think coming to NetJets really for me was supposed to be a stepping stone,
Mm.
and it was kind of a growing company at the time. It was kind of exploding, really. I think it doubled in pilots within a year and a half or something like that. but I never thought I'd stay there.
Hmm.
So I went in 2000, and the funny thing about aviation is it's all about timing. So my plan was to go to NetJets, get my time, which I needed PIC turbine time. In other words, captain of a jet, and then I could go on to a major airline. September 11th happened, and everything shut down. And really about 10 years where nothing opened up. He had a little bit here and there, but I wasn't military, so that counted against me. So I kind of got stuck, but that ended up turning into a good job. So I guess I got lucky.
Yeah. And what's made you stay there for this period of time versus like, because I felt like there's been periods of time where maybe pilots have been, under, like there hasn't been enough of them.
Well, that's really a new thing. That
Okay.
it just started happening a little bit before COVID. Um, there's been a surplus of pilots for a very long time.
Okay.
Everybody always said we would fly for food. And then it kind of was the way it worked for a long time at the beginning. When I flight instructed, I made 10,000 in 1 year. It sucked. That's no benefits or anything either. It was terrible. Um, and then everybody said, "Hey, this pilot shortage is coming. It's coming." And we're all just like, "Oh, we've heard this before. The economy is going to collapse. Something's going to happen. It's never going to happen." Right? It happened, and a lot of our careers progressed because of that. You're seeing a lot of 20-year-olds making it right into Delta, United. These jobs that all of us dreamed of for decades that we'd have this chance to get in. And the funny thing about aviation, though, is it all works on a seniority system. So your pay, your bases, your quality life, everything is based on the seniority that you have in that company. And it's just date of hire. That's it. So I was pretty senior in that jet, still am. And so when things started opening up, it's like, geez, do I leave and start at the bottom?
Mhm.
And if you work the financials, like, well, I can make a little bit more money if I left for my last 15 years before retirement. But my quality of life would definitely go down for at least 5 years. And like I said, my kids are home right now.
Yeah.
They still like me. So I want to be home.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in that jet.
Cool.
So they call it the golden handcuffs. It's not bad. I'm here. I'm happy to be here. But if I were 20 years younger, I'd be elsewhere. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
So,
Dan Jordan's here too, and he'd tell you the same story.
yeah.
It's all about timing.
So, you've been at the company for like 23 years and you've been with a company that it sounds like you fly around people with a little bit of money
A
all
tad.
over the country.
Mhm.
And you've been with your company for 23 years. So I know you've probably maybe had some leadership experiences and service experience. What are some of those things that you feel like maybe stood out as your time, or maybe some lessons in those two areas that you felt like, hey, this is something that, like, if you take these principles or you take these ideas around service or anything like that, that you felt like has really helped you or seen help your company or anything like that, that you think would be of value?
Well, in this career, service is really tops, right? You need to give these folks everything that they ever dreamed of. When you have a billionaire hop on an airplane, you want him to feel like this is great, not like I'm hopping in my Kia and going to work, you know.
Mm.
Um, but you have to keep in mind that really safety is the number one priority. So even though you're trying to give them the best service, sometimes you have to tell them, we're not going today, or we have an issue with the airplane. I'm sorry. And that's the hardest part of the job, making that call, because no one wants to fail the mission. You might have Bill Gates in the back, and you have to go back there after starting your engine. Let's say you had I don't know, oil pressure problem or something. You have to go back there and tell them, Mr. Gates, we're not going today. I can get you another airplane. I don't know when it's going to be here. Let me make a phone call. That's definitely the hardest thing, because you're working on this service. You want to give them everything they ever dreamed of, right there in your airplane, and then you have to tell them you can't give them anything sometimes, and that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
So it's all about safety.
How have you handled those situations, or have you used like a technique or anything like that that like you felt like has worked that didn't and I know that's a hard, I never thought about what you just said before, but that is hard because these are people also that are used to I say I get, right?
I think making excuses is the worst way to go about it. You're very direct with them. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what you know. Sometimes you don't know everything. Like, they want to know, when's that next airplane coming? I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you an hour, because I don't know. When they tell me, I will tell you, but they'll probably get a hold of you first. Now you have some people that are very used to getting what they want. Those are the ones that are hard to deal with, because they're like, well, we don't care about that. Let's go. No, I care about it. I have a family at home. I'm not going. And if I say that, you should agree with that.
Right.
Hey, we're going to Palm Beach or New York. I want to go too. But most people understand how it works. That there are two professionals up front making a decision, and a lot of times it's not even a decision. I mean, we're trained to do this. We know what we can go and what we can't go with. But you do have people that become irate. I guess I'll tell you one quick story back. Geez, what was night? It was 2015, and I was in a plane called the Citation 10, and I was picking up out of Columbus at the beginning of my tour, which was going to be 7 days. And I pick it up, and the lav is broke, so it has no toilet. I call upstairs. I said, "Hey, you guys are giving me a plane with a broke toilet." "Oh yeah, we know, Kent." Blah blah blah. I said, "But it can't even be used. It's not like we can use it in an emergency. It just can't be used. Period." Like, "Yeah, but we really need you out on the road with this. We're short of airplanes." I said, "Okay, that's fine, but an hour leg. That's all I'm going to do. Passengers should be told beforehand, and anything more than an hour, who knows it? Who needs it? There are 8 people on board. Possibly someone's going to have to use the restroom." So I ran around like that for 3 days, and they kept their word. Everything was under an hour, and everything worked out fine. They called the folks the night before. No big deal. But then I got to Houston on I think it was the 4th day. It was morning time, and I met the fellow inside the FBO, which is like a private terminal in an airport. And I said, "Oh, Mr. Blah, blah, nice to meet you." He's like, "Yeah, let's go. I'm excited. All right, let's do it." I said, "Hey, I just want to make sure a company got a hold of you last night about the lab that was broken." He looked at me straight in the eye and said, "I told them I didn't want that effing airplane." I said, "Okay, well, we've got it." We have 2 options. It's a 45-minute flight. I think we're going to Baton Rouge or something like that. So we can take the flight, use the facilities beforehand, or I can call them up right now and get you another airplane. Again, I don't know how long that's going to take. So he wanted a vent. And so inside, with like people looking at us with him in a very loud voice, I was very upset. Probably, that probably lasted only about 5 minutes, but 5 minutes seems very long.
Especially being yelled at.
Yeah. I was paired with a guy named Jim, who I'm good friends with, but he's terrible with people. And so in my head, I'm thinking, my God, this guy's really mad. He's going to go up the airplane because he wants to drive out. So he's going to beat me there, and Jim's going to deal with him. I said, this isn't going to be good. Oh, boy. So when he said, I'm going to drive out to the airplane, we're going to go, I decided to run to the airplane. So I ran out there, and I'm like, "Jim, this guy's mad." And he knows he's not good at people. He's like, "Okay, I'm up front." So he just went up and sat in his seat. And so the guy wanted to vent another 5-10 minutes or something like that. And all I could say is, I'm sorry, I apologize, and I understand. I get where you're coming from. There's nothing else I could do. So sometimes you just suck it up, give them the best you have, and hope for the best.
Yeah, you know, one of those tactics is diffuse the situation, and obviously, if you um, mirror um, their frustration, it never turns out good. You know,
Yeah, you
what I've
definitely don't want to, because you also will get a phone call about that.
yeah, right.
Yeah, so yeah, that wasn't my goal either. I just
Yes.
wanted to. Mhm.
What are some of like? So, are you allowed to say like who are some cool people that you've having to flown that are like big people that you know?
Well, I've flown next president, um, the, arguably the top sports stars in every sport, uh, movie stars. But the main majority of people we fly are business folks. I mean, we all think when we were young, we thought the richest people in the world were football and baseball players and movie stars, period. Right. And that's it. They're not the rich people in this world. They really aren't. Um, and this is out to you, Brad, if you're on. Uh, People that manage other people's money. That's probably a quarter of who we fly.
Oh,
Yeah. It's money makes money.
yeah.
And then, of course, a ton of CEOs. What has happened over the years is the way our operation works. Let's say we have, I don't know, 700 to 800 airplanes, something like that. A corporation, let's say GE, they would have a flight department of 5 of their own aircraft that they would own. And these 5 aircraft are great. They loved them. They got to go where they want, blah, blah, blah. But on certain days, they need 10 aircraft, and some days they need 0. And some days, 3 aircraft they have are broken, so they only have 2. But when they fly on NetJets, they buy 5 aircraft, but they have access to 800 aircraft. So if they need 12 in one day, they're going to have 12. If they need 0, they have 0 and they don't pay for it. So that's really, I don't know where I got off on this tangent, but that's where NetJets really kind of grew into what it is. All the private flight departments found out that, hey, this isn't a viable option for us.
Yeah.
And another issue with public companies, you have shareholders, and these shareholders can track your airplanes. They know what airplane you own. They know where you're going. If you're going to the islands, probably not business.
Mm.
We have anonymity. So I won't go much further on that part, but corporations tend to go to us. And I'm going to throw a plug into our competitor here right now, actually FlexJet. They're about half our size, but our largest competitor. My brother Mikey works there, is one of the lead dispatchers, and my wife Amanda now works there too. So sometimes I call us a Netflix family. Yeah.
You guys don't have battle royals or anything like that. That kind of.
It's work. It's our job. We totally understand it. I like having Amanda. She feels like she's part of something again. Because she was retired for I don't know, 12, 13 years. I thought that's fantastic. That's what I'm after, right? But she likes being part of something. Maybe she'll do it another 4 or 5 years. Who knows? And yeah, Mikey, he loves it too. He only works 3 days a week. That's pretty good.
Not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, thinking of that, and it's kind of cool that you've had, since you got like 4 family members, and I know you were the grandfather family member that came in first.
Yeah.
What did that Theta's Eye experience kind of mean to you, and anything maybe that you learned during that time being at Theta's Eye?
Well, I'd love to say that Theta's Eye is all about the leadership and teaching me about the future and everything, but I'll tell you the truth. This is what it's all about. College is a 50-50. 50% learning, 50% social. And it teaches you how to be social. And this part is just as important as the learning part. Well, Theta's Eye teach you like a class? Nah, they won't. But will they teach you how to be social, how to network, how to have friendships that you can count on, guys that you can count on for the rest of your life? That's what it's all about. Um, and that's really why, I wanted to introduce my brothers and cousin to it. It was a cool experience. Absolutely loved it. Still love it. Uh, I don't know what else to say. It's fantastic. So it was so good. I brought everybody in. I'm the lead Russian.
Yeah. Obviously, having your family come in, and I know that your endorsements are. I know it meant a lot to you for you to endorse it. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well, I know in the business world, well, I know with Brad, watching him,
Yeah.
with his work, and Brad's really taken off. He's doing fantastic right now in his job. And I think without Theta's Eye, I don't think he would have done as well. Nothing against Brad, but I think Theta's Eye really set him up on a platform to succeed. Where he's so good at talking to people. Great bullshitter, by the way. This whole, I don't know, it's a foundation where you start to become a man.
Yeah.
In the fraternity, and it just it helps you in those stages of life. If he goes in someone's house and he needs to sell them, they have $1 million or $2 million that he's going to manage. They need to trust him. They need to know that he knows what he's doing, and he has to sell himself. That's what we did in Theta's Eye all the time. We sold ourselves, usually to girls. But hey, yeah, I think Theta's Eye set us all up great. Bake, I know your foundation. I mean, you exemplify it. Everything you've done, and Theta's Eye was your huge stepping stone.
So, any advice that you would give to some young brothers that are maybe on the call, either aviation advice or just life advice? I really like, yeah, any advice that you can give.
All right, we'll start with the aviation advice and then broaden it out a little bit. With aviation, if you're thinking about doing it, Vic, do it. Time is ticking. There's a shortage. Get your tickets, your licenses, and just do it. It's very rewarding for your time off and your pay. You're not going to change the world. You're not making the world a better place, but you can make it great for you and your family. So yeah, anybody who's thinking about aviation, do it. Take the loans out you need to take and just do it. Now, away from aviation, kind of on the same thing. If you have a goal in life, whether you're an architect, an engineer, whatever, go full force into it. Don't say, hey, I want to do this. This is great. And be timid about it. Don't do that. Go full force. Yes, enjoy life at the same time. But so many people go after their dream half-assed, if you will. Don't do that. Just go for it. Do it all. Do it as fast as you can. Get in there. Let's see. Life lessons. If you think you might want to settle down, just settle down. It's okay to have a family and have kids. Your brothers, your friends, we're all going to tease you. It's the way it works. But you know what? Nothing beats it. You'll still have your friends. Having kids is probably the most wonderful thing in this world. So don't be afraid to do that. Took some notes. Let's see if I have anything I missed there on that. No, not really. Not really.
Cool. Well,
Right.
I can't, brother. I just enjoy you so much, and I'm glad you're able to have some time to do this. I know you got a busy schedule between work and family and all that kind of stuff, and I think what I just getting to know you more, because I know during college I hardly ever got to talk to you because you just socialize it, and you probably had the best social calendar ever, and still
I like the
maintain.
way you use the word social instead of party. I love it. Thank you. That's great.
I've evolved. Some words you use in different scenarios of life. Now it's so.
Sure.
You had a great social calendar, but you always were still like always good at school, all that kind of stuff, and like you still got it done. And now you're a captain, and so it's great to see that. And I would say what's also amazing about you to me. Okay, this is just for me. You're a great brother, man. I like being able to call you and just have a conversation or get together and stuff like that over the years. And the other part of that is that you're an awesome dad, and I respect that a whole lot.
Thanks, and I get those words and say it right back to you.
Yeah, so it's great, brother. So I'll open it up. We got Vic and Will. I don't know if you guys had any questions or want to say anything that maybe something that came about from this, or you just guys here for moral support. So I'll let you guys. I'll open it up.
Can you turn the cameras on, Bake?
Yeah. All right.
By the way, did you guys watch the Cleveland game last night? The Browns. Yeah. Oh, was that painful or what? That was painful. Willie D, you're on mute.
There you go.
Here we go, Lions. Here we go.
Yeah, he's always been a Detroit fan. I won't hold that against you, though. No, I don't see Will. Is Vic still on here?
Yeah, I'm on.
Oh, all right. I don't see
everybody now?
No, I just see you and I.
Can you guys see everybody or no? Just
right now I can only see you, Big. I can't. I was seeing Kent, and now I can't see him anymore.
Okay. I don't know.
Turn this video on. I can't see that lovely lock of hair.
Is it good now?
Maybe when someone talks, the picture comes up. I don't know.
No. On view?
Oh, I can see.
There he is. Look at that. There we got it. Now it's a party.
Yeah,
big,
beautiful bastard.
Dude, you only look 39. You sure you're turning 50?
Hey, man, what can I say? And and even I even asked him, what his thoughts were for at my age getting into it, and so he's like, yeah, this was a couple years ago. I'd say, nah, you've missed your shot. But with this huge, talking huge pilot shortage, it's a great opportunity. And another thing is, there's a lot of companies out there giving on day zero, meaning before you even start work, they'll give you $100,000 signing bonus. And then on day one, they give you a $75,000 signing bonus. And obviously that 100,000 is to pay for your flight school, because that's pretty much what it costs. And the 75 is
little asterisk on that. That is for captain qualified applicants. So you do have to have a little bit of a background to get that signing bonus.
Because that's for Envoy, the Envoy company.
Yeah, see, the problem is that they're trying to bring people in that have captain background to get the sign on, because they need those, because they've all left and they have all brand new people coming in, so they can't fly these airplanes. So they're most of the bonuses are for captain qualified. Doesn't mean you'll get that, and you're not going to get that pretty soon.
Right.
Right.
No, but there's a lot of incentives right now, because and you can read on the news where Delta is, and American and all these other airlines are they're competing for pilots. So You know, one company starts giving out incentives, bonuses, and all this other stuff. Well, the other one's got to
Want to be a
match
pilot.
it. You know, so it's just a great time to get into it. And if you're already into it, if you want to switch jobs, like, but the thing is, the golden handcuffs. I did not know about that. That makes total sense. If it wasn't for those golden handcuffs,
You know, it's funny if you were, I don't know, if you're a doctor, and let's say you're the best heart surgeon in the world, right? And you work for Cleveland Clinic, but you want to go up to, I don't know, you want to live in California, and so you go over there and like, hey, I'm the best heart surgeon there is. They're like, hey, we know you, blah blah. We're going to pay you as the best heart surgeon. Well, here, if I go over to Delta, I'm a number one guy, number one guy, just like a 25-year-old kid.
right?
That's different about aviation. It has its pluses where it protects you because of
Right.
seniority, but it holds you back in ways too.
Right.
I really net jets because
Yeah, you know, I got a question regarding that too, because for the options out there for pilots is okay. I could either join one of the big ones, or I could join one of the private ones, like, you know, NetJets or FlexJets. I see. I'm thinking. In my head, I'm thinking. Well, the nice thing about NetJets is you don't have if you're flying commercial, you got to go through the gate. You got to go through all the security. It's a big pain in the butt, and you might take it like half an hour walk at the big airport just to go to get to your gate. It's a big pain in the butt. I mean, there's a little inconvenience there. Where with NetJets, I'm thinking, well, you don't even go there. You go to your own little terminal, right? You got your own little private terminal. You probably park your own car there. I don't know.
there are pluses and minuses to both, but and it depends on your age too. Where you're at, I'd say if you got your hours, I'd love to get you on NetJets, and you'd probably stay there the rest of your career, and you'd love it. My son, let's say he's 23 years old, he has his time. Let me tell him to go to Delta because he'll have his hard years at the beginning, but he'll make so much more in the long run because he has 40 years ahead of him.
Right.
You and I, you're coming in at the twilight time, you know. It's
right. You know, and legally you age out at 65, but with NetJets, it's not
70
the
at
case.
NetJets. 70 at NetJets now.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, they just mandated that. But
That's
there
kind
are
of probably a good thing too.
I support it. I think
Yeah.
65 is too young. 70, I think, is great.
Yeah.
I've had some bad experiences with people that don't want to leave.
Right.
So, but
Yeah. So
you
I
know,
was thinking, you know, some of the pros and cons, you know, between the two, if you could elaborate a little, you know, I mean, schedule, like work schedule. Is there a big difference between the two?
okay, okay, so there are two things with aviation you got to look at: quality of life, money, right?
Right.
And they're both equally important and very important. Um, if you had a lot of time left in your career, what I touched on before, I'd always tell you to go to one of the three majors: FedEx, UPS. If you don't have a lot of time, go to a place like us. That's great. A lot of us are here because we got stuck. No one was hiring for the last 20 years. I mean, just nothing was going on. So we're all lucky to be there. I mean, I have friends that were out on the road for 3-4 years with no job. But when it comes to pros and cons, especially with the airlines,
Like the work schedule.
seniority over at the airlines plays into more for years of service when it comes to quality of life. So with us, you would do, let's say, 7 days on, 7 days off. You'd end up with 2 or 3 weeks vacation, 2 weeks of sick time on top of that. You'd have a better quality of life than them for the first 5 years. But then after that, in a major, your quality of life starts getting better. And it's probably better than what you'd have at NetJets. Now, the quality of life, some people really take it as quality of life on the road. I really take it as quality of life at home. In other words, the amount of time at home. I think that's really what defines it all for me.
Right.
I'll work 14 hours for you every day if I can have an extra day at home. So it's hard to compare because your years of service, they just don't elevate the same. So quality of life starts higher here, lower there, and then it surpasses. Pay, I think you're right now, because the big three all have brand new contracts. We're fighting for a contract right now. We're fighting hard, and the company's fighting hard. Pay better at the big three by far right now.
Yeah.
We hope to change that. We just had we had an email that came out like half an hour before this meeting, and I was all pissed. I was like texting my friends at work. We're getting all fired up. I'm like, guys, I gotta stop talking. I gotta wind down a little bit here. But
You're like, damn it, if it wasn't for those damn golden handcuffs, man, I'd beat the hell out of here.
gold handcuffs. Sometimes I call them silver handcuffs because they're not that great.
I thought you worked 2 weeks. I thought you worked 2 weeks and then was off a week. But you're saying it's on a week, off a week?
Oh yeah. The most I'll ever work here is 7 days on, 7 days off. Right now I'm working the 52-day schedule, which is a little bit less than that. I work if I don't count vacation and sick days, it's 13 days a month. So I'm coming off of I think I had 12 days off. Then I go back on Thursday for 8 days. So schedule's pretty good here. Now, if you want to make a lot more money, you can torture yourself and extend and go to work as much as you want. I have not extended in over 15 years because I enjoy the quality of my life at home. But I've
Right.
met guys that try to get on the road and make all this extra cash. Oh, man, I'm out on the road. I make $3,000 every day I'm out. I'm like, yeah, but you're gonna get divorced.
So you have your base salary and then and then you have your number of hours flying. So it's like two separate pays.
Yeah, and we're a little bit different than the airlines. You can do, let's just say everybody has a salary. It's just easier way to put it, minimum guaranteed, rig systems, overtime. We have something called flight duty pay. So like with us, we have our base pay, but then every hour we fly, it's what is it right now? $150 extra per hour that we fly. Then you get
So that's the
overtime.
incentive to work more. I mean, pick up.
Yeah, because before there was no incentive at all other than to show up at work. You show up and you're like, I'm tired. Let's go back to the hotel. And you get paid the same. So they
Really?
put SDP in progress, and it really kept the planes moving. Yeah,
Makes sense.
that was a big change. Benefits are real good too in aviation. It's when I tell people about my 401k, they're like, wow, that's the best 401k I've ever heard of. Like, yeah, it's pretty good. And then the major airlines also have direct contribution. I think it's like 16% or something like that. So they max out every year. Like, well, I don't know what the max is, like 55,000 or something like that a year you can put in your phone.
And then another thing also to mention is with NetJets, you told me that you're based out of whatever airport's nearest to where you're currently living, right? Whereas
Yeah,
with the major, you would have to move.
it's not, yes. So let's say that I got on that's where the quality of life comes in. Like I keep getting the itch to go to Delta. It's always my goal is to get to Delta, but I just have to keep forgetting about it because my age and just it wouldn't pay off because I would have to commute to New York on my own time and dime, have a crash pad there, which would be like an apartment shared with other guys. Um, it would suck. And let's say the economy were to slow down tomorrow. Shit, I'd be stuck in that. We're recording. I can't swear. I'd be stuck in that scenario possibly the rest of my career. Whereas now, my duty day starts at Port Columbus here. Actually, it's called John Glenn Airport now, isn't it? Because that's where I start. Now, my plane might not be there. 10% or 90% time it's not. I'll airline to wherever the airplane is. And that's duty time. My first day might be I airline out to San Diego, I go out for dinner and go to bed. And that's
With a different company?
no, with NetJets. That's
Okay.
how NetJets works.
I see. So your plane, so the NetJets have planes there, just not your plane. And so you're just gonna have to catch a ride with another NetJets pilot to
On an airline. No, we airline usually at the beginning and end of our tour. That's how. So, yeah, you would be based out of RSW,
right?
And they would not have a NetJets plane there for you. But let's say Tuesday's your start day. They're like, hey, Vic, show up at 10 a.m. You're airlining to Atlanta, where you'll pick up another airplane, and then you're going to Santa Barbara. And
okay.
And that airline is paid for. It's scheduled for you. You get all the miles to keep for vacation, all that kind of stuff. But what's important is it's on your duty day. That's your hours of work. Where at the airline, it's your own time. And your own
really?
yeah.
That's a big difference. Yeah.
So if you're on with Delta, they say, hey, your start day's Tuesday. It's in New York. Sorry, you live in Fort Myers. That's you chose to do that. Be there at 7 a.m. on Tuesday. We don't care how you're there, but you better be there. That's a downfall.
Right. So that's coming out of your pocket to get transportation to New York.
Yeah, and so we have well over 100 bases, and that's probably one of the biggest draws of our company. If you live in Fargo, it's gonna be hard to get anywhere to start your job. But with us, they book you an airline, you hop on it and you go.
Nice.
Last day, they have that airline booked for you and you head on home.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. I mean, that's good information.
Yeah. But you know, when you get further along in your training, we'll talk more about that kind of stuff and specifics
Yeah.
and you know, love to get you on here at
Well,
Netjets, and I'm sure Dan Gaddy would put in a letter.
yeah, that's the plan, man. I would love to fly with my bros, you know.
Yeah.
How
Start that
awesome would
flight
that be?
training, but your first lesson has to be with me, man. Come on up. Yeah. Hey, that stands for anybody out there. You know, if you guys want to go up flying, let me know, and we'll go up for a ride. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Will, you hearing anything? Can you hear us?
It's a coin flip. Vic wants to be a pilot.
Yeah. Hey,
So,
hey, going back.
I'm trying to read your lips. This is why I'm so close to the camera.
I'll just do this for you.
It will.
By the way, Vic, you were talking about the taking the medical and all the things they ask you about. When I took my first medical, I never really thought about it. I couldn't match my clothes real well. I mean, didn't really worry about it. But my mom or my sister were like, "Kent, that doesn't match at all." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? It matches." I have a color vision issue, and so I flunked my medical. And I didn't find this out until I was oh gosh, I think I was a CFI at that time. I'm not sure, but I was a few years into training. And I'm like, what does that mean? You know, I'm like, well, you're gonna have to go for a test, blah, blah, blah. Have you ever seen a dot test where it's a circle with a whole bunch of dots and there's numbers and stuff in there?
Right.
I can't see those.
Really.
And the funny thing is, like, your shirt's kind of greenish. I see that. Mine's reddish. Yeah, you know, to me, it's like, yeah, that's good enough. But they're like, yeah, your color vision isn't where it's supposed to be. But anyway, I have a waiver for that. It hasn't kept me down at all. So, yeah, small issues like that get past. Will, I think you got to hear a little bit better. Get some better hearing aids. You'll be all right.
I'm just
We'll hire you.
control. Hello.
Yeah, Will definitely could never pass the medical, man. He's too crazy mentally, and his hearing's is shot. So
Yeah, he
Too
might be
much
long
liquid.
shot, but I don't think he'd ever be as happy flying as he is out on the field. He's doing what he's supposed to do.
My kid
Yeah.
wants to be a pilot. My
Oh, yeah?
oldest.
You're
He
older
wants
or younger?
Yeah, Gavin. He
All
wants
right.
to do Air Force Academy.
cool.
Yeah, big aspirations.
Yeah. And
Wow.
that's his goal right now.
All right.
It's a good goal.
How's he doing in school?
I've been talking to Matt. Put her up about recommendations and all that crap. I know he had to do it for his son, Navy Academy, right? One of his boys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Baker's got military, so
yeah, Matt's son is in can you fill us in there, Bake?
What's that?
He's part
It's in
of-
the Naval Academy.
Naval
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he's in Annapolis.
Okay, that's awesome.
But if you want an Air Force guy, I don't know. Maybe I have some I have some good connections.